Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Margarita, and today I am here to bring you a book unhaul. Little bit of a side note and a little bit of an update. In the next week and a half to 2 weeks, my super crazy online classes will be done, and I'll just have my regular classes to go to, so I'm going to have a lot more free time. Hopefully you guys will be seeing a little bit more of my face. Hopefully it looks better than it does now when you see it again. But I'm really hoping to start reading more and filming more and just really getting back into the whole booktube community because I've really missed this. So now on to the unhaul. These are all books that I have in fact read over the last 2 months. I have not really had time to read as much as I would have liked. So that's why I'm only choosing books that I have already read and that I either didn't enjoy them or I just don't see myself rereading them. I enjoyed them when I read them, but I just don't see myself picking them back up. So there's no point taking up valuable bookshelf space when I'm not going to reread them. So let's just get into it. The first book that I have here is Beastkeeper by Kat Hellison. I got this, I'm not gonna lie, because of the cover. It's gorgeous, but also because it is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. And I found it to be kind of lackluster. It's not the best thing, it's not the worst thing. I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't love it, and I don't see myself wanting to reread it. So, especially since I have so many fairy tale retellings that I absolutely love and I do reread so often, there's no point keeping one that I'm not going to. So I know someone out there is definitely going to like this. I think it might be geared to a little bit of a younger audience, so maybe that's why I didn't enjoy it as much. But someone out there will definitely enjoy this, and I want them to have it. The next book was one that was a big disappointment for me, and that is Crimson Peak, the movie novelization by Nancy Holder. I saw Crimson Peak, which is basically a horror ghost story movie, and I really enjoyed the movie, and when I saw this book I thought, wow, that's going to be so great because they're going to be able to give me so much more information than was actually, you know, in the movie. It'll delve deeper. It didn't. This is literally the movie, but all written out. So I'll watch the movie if I want to hear the story again. I don't need to read the book. Next is one that I didn't even finish. I disliked it that much, and that is a graphic novel, and that is Sex Criminals Volume 1, One Weird Trick by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky. This is basically about these two people that have this weird power that when they orgasm, they stop time, and they just happen to run into each other and have sex and figure it out. And so I guess they start robbing banks and stuff, and I don't care. I just really don't care. The illustrations are kind of cool and I like the colors, but the plot just didn't interest me. Like I said, I didn't even finish it. I'm not going to pick it back up. I don't want to. I don't want to continue on with the series. I don't care, so I want it to be off my shelves. The next book that I have here is Etiquette and Espionage, Finishing School, the first book in that series by Gail Carriger. I did enjoy this book when I read it. It is a, what's the word, steampunk-esque book where these girls are sent to finishing school, but it's not your average finishing school. They are taught to be spies and to kill people and to kick some major ass. And that's what this whole series is about. And while I did enjoy it, if I want to continue on with the series, I can get this from the library. I know that they have it. And I prefer her Parasol Protector series a little bit more. That's her adult. This is her young adult series. So I'm going to continue collecting those and get rid of this one. And again, if I want to read it, which I'm sure I will at some point, I'll get it from the library. The next book is a huge disappointment for me because I was really hoping to love it. You guys haven't seen this video yet because I haven't posted it yet. I filmed it like a week and a half ago. I just haven't had a chance to film or to post it, but it's my top 5 favorite books of 2016 and my least favorite books of 2016, and this made the list for least favorite, and that is Marina by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And his other book, The Shadow of the Wind, made my top favorites of 2016. So it's really sad for me because his writing style was so beautiful in The Shadow of the Wind, but this one was just so lackluster. I don't know why. This is a young adult book, Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but this was just really not for me. It was a big letdown. It's not a bad story. It's just not what I thought I was going to be getting, and the writing style wasn't what I thought I was going to get, and that really took a lot out of the story for me. And also, I don't know who came up with this synopsis, but this is not what the book is about. It said, this is what made me want to buy it, besides the fact that it was Carlos Ruiz Zafón and the beautiful cover. I did want to read it for the actual content. And the first line is, when 15-year-old Oscar suddenly vanishes from his boarding school in Barcelona, no one knows his whereabouts for 7 days and 7 nights. So you're sitting there thinking, wow, this book is going to be about this kid that disappears, and it's going to be this big mystery, and then everything's going to be revealed. That's not at all what this book is about. I kept waiting for him to disappear, and he never did. And this is not what I thought it was going to be, and it was so disappointing. And I know a friend really, really wants to read this, so I'm going to give this to her so she can read it, and we can talk about it and discuss our feelings. The next book is a book that makes me very angry, so if I get a little heated or anything, I'm really, really sorry, but this book just really bothers me, and that is Tender Morsels by Margot Lanigan. I was planning on keeping this book for a year or two and rereading it once I've had time to digest it and, you know, go back and see if I actually did enjoy it, but I don't want it on my shelves anymore. This book basically follows this girl, Liga, who she just has this horrible life. I'm not gonna say too much, but she has a shitty life. I don't know how she survived. And so finally I guess some spirits like, you know, your life has been such shit. I'm gonna do you a huge favor, and I'm gonna protect you and give you this little world where you can raise your daughters in peace and nobody can hurt you anymore. And that's what I'm gonna do for you. And then some asshole has to come and ruin it. And it's basically that story. And it's just so bad. Her life is so sad. It's so shitty. She has one of the shittiest daughters I've ever had the pleasure of reading. And I dislike it so much. And I don't think my opinions on it are going to change. And again, if I want to reread it, I'll get it from the library. But this is not a book that I want to own. I just want it to be gone. And I should have known that, because the first couple chapters I read in this, I was like, man, this is eerily familiar. I must have gotten this book years ago, read the first couple chapters, and have been so depressed by it that I put it back, or I sold it, or, you know, took it back to the library, wherever I got it from. But I had already picked this book up once before and not even attempted it. So now that I've finished it, I just don't want it anymore. It can be gone. That's fine. The next book is The Storied Life of A.J. Fickery by Gabrielle Zevin. This is a book that I enjoyed when I read it. Now that I've had time to step back and think about it, it's probably not as good as I thought it was when I first read it, but I just don't see myself wanting to pick it back up. This is basically about this grumpy old man, A.J. Fickery, and one day that someone leaves a 2-year-old in his bookstore, and he decides to adopt her, and it's his life and his story after that. And it's good. It's a light, warm-hearted story, but it's just not something I see myself reaching for ever again. And I think I might have a friend who would really enjoy this, so I'm going to send it to her. But it's just, I don't want it anymore. I want it to bring joy to someone else. The next book is The City Under the Skin by Geoff Nicholson. And this book is pretty disappointing. It's basically, the premise is there's someone going through this city, kidnapping girls, tattooing something on their backs, and releasing them back into the world. That's all he does. He tattoos something onto their backs. And then there's someone else going around collecting all these women that have these tattoos on their backs. So it's this big mystery about that. There are multiple points of view. I was like, man, this is going to be so good. And it was just mediocre. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And I just don't see myself wanting to ever reread this, especially now that I know what was going on. I'm just not so interested anymore. And then the last book that I have here is probably going to be the one that everybody's going to be like, how can you get rid of that book? but let me explain. It is You by Carolyn Kepnes. I did really enjoy this book when I read it. It's not like anything I've ever read before. It's from the point of view of this stalker who has a lot of serious issues besides just the fact that he's a stalker. I mean, he has some really serious issues. And it's about him stalking this woman, and he talks, and the book is written like he's talking to you, like you're the woman that he's stalking. It's so creepy. But I did enjoy this book when I read it. Again, I just don't see myself ever rereading it. It was good in the moment and when I read it, but I'm just not so interested in keeping it and rereading it. If I want to reread it, I know the library has it. There's no problem getting this again, but I just don't see myself. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that was a good book. But I don't have the urge like, man, that's going to be so good to read again sometime. So it's time for it to go to a better home. So those are all the books that I'm getting rid of as of right now. Hopefully in the next couple months I'll have time to read a lot more books and, you know, weed the ones that I don't want to keep out, if there are any. Don't get me wrong, I'm not hoping that I dislike books so I can get rid of them. I'm hoping that I love every single book that I buy, but at the same time, if you guys could see my bookshelves, which you kind of can, but like the one over here is so bad. They're just books stacked in front of books and in front of books. So if I don't absolutely love it or if I'm not going to reread it, there's no point in keeping it. So yeah, that's it. That's my book unhaul. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!